Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. Plato. The formation of habits. If you are familiar with Joe Dispenza, I am sure you've heard him talk about how when we have an experience, all 5 of our senses plug into the external environment. These senses receive sensory input that is processed and transformed into data by the conscious mind. The conscious mind then refers to the subconscious mind, where the subconscious mind will return what it has learned to be the most appropriate response to the experience. If we are having a new experience, the subconscious mind will return to the most related information it can find, and our conscious mind will then decide how to respond to this new experience. How we consciously respond to this new experience will become accepted by the subconscious mind as the most appropriate response going into the future, so that the next time we have the experience, we will know how to respond. Over time, our subconscious mind becomes a storehouse for these learned behaviors that have been learned with our conscious mind. After these behaviors become learned and stored in the subconscious mind, we no longer rely on our conscious mind for a response because the subconscious mind responds automatically. This automatic response leads to the formation of what we call habits. But it isn't just our physical behaviors that become automatic. Our emotional behaviors, such as attitudes and beliefs, become automatic as well. And as our learned emotional and physical behaviors build up in the subconscious mind over time, we soon realize that we rarely need to interpret incoming information before acting upon it. Our conscious mind has learned how to respond and has stored all this learned behavior in the subconscious mind. So we simply take the path of least resistance. Habits are this path of least resistance. Stuck in the past. After a while, this cycle of thinking and behaving creates a subconscious state of being. Our physical and emotional responses become dependent on these learned behaviors and beliefs that we've stored in the subconscious mind, so we never behave consciously. And there lies the problem. All this stored information is fully based on past experiences. So when we get stuck in this cycle of thinking, all we are doing is recreating our past by overlaying or projecting it into the present moment. We lose our ability to think consciously or objectively, and we become fully subjective to our learned behaviors from past experiences that we've stored in the subconscious mind. In other words, we lose the ability to exist consciously in the present moment, and we exist subconsciously, as our memories from the past. This causes us to shut off new experiences, new ideas, or anything that causes us to operate outside of this automatic state, or in other words, we become close-minded. When we arrive at a place where we no longer accept new ideas or new experiences that make us think differently, we entirely strip away our ability to change who we are. At this point, our entire state of being is in the past, and we have lost sight of the present moment altogether. Now let's talk about how we can liberate ourselves from this past conditioning and open our mind to new ideas, new experiences, and even change. 3 steps towards change. This is something that requires persistence, and it's not as easy as following these steps and you'll wake up tomorrow a different person. You've got to truly want change. But if you do, don't think for 1 second that you are incapable of making it happen, because the desire for change is the most important part of the equation. Here are 3 steps you can take in the right direction towards change. 1. Break the habits of the old self. We cannot wait for something outside of us to change how we feel on the inside, or else nothing is going to change. If you continue to do what you've always done, you are going to get exactly what you've always gotten. We've trained our mind to become the way it is, and we can train it to become another way. But we've got to unlearn before we can relearn. We've got to break the habits of the old self before creating the new self. It's a 2-step process. For example, let's say you wake up late every day, and you want to become someone who wakes up early every day. Well, before you can wake up early, you've got to stop waking up late. To break the habit of the old self, focus more of your energy on not waking up late, instead of solely focusing on waking up earlier. You've got to become fully aware of what it is about yourself that you want to change and give that all your energy. If you hope to free yourself from the chain of the emotions that keep you in the familiar past, you shouldn't focus on where you want to go as much as you should focus on where you do not want to be. As Alan Watts said, Let us begin where we are. 2. Meditation. When we realize ourselves getting caught up in the past thoughts or emotions, and we become aware that your attention is on that emotion, we become aware that we are sucking your energy out of the present moment into the past. From there, we settle our body back into the present moment. When we do this time and time again, when we realize that our body is getting caught up in feelings and emotions from the past, and we force it back into the present moment, we are regaining control. This gives us something known as willpower, and when our willpower becomes stronger than the automatic program we've been operating on, we gain control of that program. Pulling our awareness from being caught up in past thoughts to the present moment is like a rep for our mind. And the more reps we do, the better exercise our mind receives. It is no different than doing bicep curls to increase the strength of our arms, but we are working on our mind. It's about becoming aware when we slip unconsciously back into a habit, because if we cannot do this, we remain subjective to those habits. We remain the one that's committing them instead of the one watching ourselves commit them through an objective lens. If we can't acquire an objective perspective on the habits or parts of ourselves that we are trying to change, we'll simply never change them because we won't be able to notice when they're happening. Meditation means to become familiar with. And what we are becoming familiar with are these habits or conditioned ways of automatic thinking that exist in the unconscious states of mind and body. The more conscious of the unconscious states of mind and body we become, the less likely these repeated thoughts and behaviors will slip past our conscious mind. 3. Create your environment. Recent discoveries have shown that the average American thinks between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts each day. Additionally, these studies showed that about 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. Well, because the same thoughts lead to the same behavior leads to the same experience, and the same experience produces the same emotions. Getting caught up in the consistent or automatic pattern of thinking will inevitably lead us to existing in an automatic, subconscious state of being. If we wake up every day and go to the exact same places to do the exact same things and interact with the exact same people, or if we consistently respond with the same emotions to the same experiences, we are being created by our environment instead of being the creator of our environment, and our environment has complete control over the emotions we will experience on any given day. For example, if you are on the way to work and you get caught in unsuspected traffic, your body has a default way to react to this experience, and it is most likely with anger. So that goes to say that if your environment gives you the experience of unsuspected traffic on any given day, you will be angry on that day. This is because this is the reaction of our subconscious mind, and it has identified a specific way to react when we have this experience. But that does not mean it's the only way to react, and it certainly doesn't mean it's the best way to react. It is the reaction that has been created by our environment, and what we've got to do is create the environment that we will be reacting to. Joe Dispenza says the best way to predict our future is to create it. Well, if we can create our environment, we are one step closer, much closer to creating our future.